What's up, my people? Welcome back to Rant Roller Sports. And this is a Bulls edition. I'm a Laker fan, but I'm rocking the red to support my man, Scottie Pippen. But I'm going to be fair and objective in my breakdown of Scottie, even though I have an affinity for his game, the way he mastered the team game, the way he defended, the way he did everything the Bulls needed him to do. All right, we're going to speak about Scottie Pippen in this live. I'm also going to speak about one or two more topics, but most notably, are we in the golden era of point guards? Once again, I was watching a clip of Gilbert Arenas speak at length with his partner in crime in their podcast, and them have a nice, healthy debate on golden era. Are we in the golden era of point guards right now or not? And they was comparing point guards of the past, which Gilbert Arenas broke down in his own way of how, they were traditional point guards and basically handcuffed offensively versus today. And how the shift went from the big man to the two guard to the point guard, but where he was in error. And like I said, I find him entertaining, informative, and intelligent, but I don't agree with everything Gilbert says. Former all-star point guard of the Washington Wizards. The reason why I don't disagree with him is because the forward in my last live that I explained came into prominence after Jordan's dominant run. And I'm going to say that is because at the same time Shaq and Kobe went on their run, they were still dunking, winning games and getting deep into the playoffs all along, even winning a championship before Kobe and Shaq, and then winning championships after Kobe and Shaq split up and Shaq went to Miami. In all reality, Tim Duncan was the dominant force out west once Shaquille O'Neal went east to Miami. Yes, Kobe Bryant was spectacular. Yes, he was a winner. But if you want to go season by season by season by season, who was the most consistently dominant, I'm going to say that was Tim Duncan. And he ushered in a new era of the power forward position of guys who are highly skilled, close to 7 feet tall, but didn't want to play that back down center position, didn't want to bang with the bigger guys who were 270, 280, and not as skilled as Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Chris Webber, so on and so forth. Then you can go to the small forwards of LeBron, Carmelo Anthony, on and on. And I went through that at length in yesterday's live, so I'm not going to go there again. We're going to speak about, is this the golden era of point guards? And I might even touch on the Phoenix Suns fiasco that was reported today about, some sexist and racist rhetoric spouted by the owner and upper management of the Phoenix Suns for a long time, over a long period of time. The reports of over 10 years of them carrying on in the workplace, in the office, with some questionable verbiage. I'll just say that. Do you care? I'm really tired of these racist stories. Like, they don't affect me. What I'm going to do in this world, can't nobody saying the N-word or whatever gonna affect me. Thank you, whoever that is coming in with the like. I appreciate it. Which reminds me to say, please come in, subscribe if you haven't already, and like the videos, like the lives. It means a great deal. I appreciate it. So since we already have somebody in, I'm just gonna get right to it and play this clip, a short clip, 6 minutes long, of the NBA little either pregame or postgame show with Greeny, Michael Wilbon, Stephen A, and Jalen Rose, and they're going to discuss Scottie Pippen putting out his autobiography and some of the controversial things that he was saying in there, specifically how he was upset with Michael Jordan and his portrayal, Michael Jordan's portrayal of Scottie in The Last Dance, how he felt it was negative. Let's get right into it, folks.
Start with the NBA story everyone is talking about. The opening tip, Scottie Pippen. His book comes out next week. An excerpt today published in GQ in which he clearly takes great umbrage at the way he was portrayed by Michael Jordan in the films The Last Dance. He said, I watched the doc at home in Southern California with my 3 teenage boys. Couldn't believe my eyes. On second thought, I could believe my eyes. I spent a lot of time around the man. I knew what made him tick, how naive I was to expect anything else. Now here I was in my mid-50s, 17 years since my final game, watching us being demeaned once again. Living through it the first time was insulting enough. Michael was determined to prove to the current generation fans that he was larger than life during his day and still larger than LeBron James, the player many consider his equal, if not his superior. Those, again, coming from Scottie's autobiography, which will be out next week. Jalen Rose, Scottie clearly feels aggrieved. Does he have a reason to?
Scottie Pippen is exactly right. And I know his name is being slandered nowadays in rap songs for reasons he can't control. But for the basketball player, he's one of the top 50 players to do it. 10-time All-NBA defense, 7-time All-Star, 7-time All-NBA, 6-time champion. And Michael Jordan, how many championships without Scottie Pippen? None. Nowadays, when you call somebody
Stephen A.
Faster than anybody who knows basketball knows that. He knows that. At the end of the day, he's wrong. He's being, a lot of people talk about empathy and what have you, but the reality is you're throwing Michael Jordan under the bus. In the book, you called Phil Jackson a racist. You're throwing him under the bus. You went after John Paxson. You seem to have an abundance of targets. And in the end, it ultimately comes down to you because from a basketball perspective, there's nobody that can question the greatness of Scottie Pippen. He's one of the all-time greatest NBA players, clearly one of the greatest defensive players. But he was the one that signed the contract that he should not have signed after being advised by the owner, Jerry Reinsdorf, not to do that. He's the one that refused to report into a game where Phil Jackson called Tony Kukoc's number of the year. Michael Jordan retired. He's the one that sat up there and said, excuse me, I'm protesting a contract that I had agreed to sign years earlier. So I'm going to delay foot surgery, all right, and jeopardize our last dance. He did all of those things. You have to own that. That's not about Michael Jordan. That's about you. And I respect the hell out of Scottie Pippen. It's just that these are the facts.
Scottie Pippen, I've been saying for 15 years, is the most underrated player of the last 35 or 40 years. And I still feel that way, underrated. But Michael he's not the guy who underrated Scottie. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I've never, in all the conversations with Michael, on the record, off the record, on camera, in the locker room, I've never once heard him say anything that would lower the position, the standing. He is one of the great players of all time, and others may have underrated him, but I don't get the part about Michael underrated.
All of these things can be true at the same time. He can be an all-time great player and still feel as though he is underappreciated. I guess the question is, does he have a right to feel as though he was portrayed in a wrong or inappropriate way in The Last Dance, and in particular by his legendary teammate?
Well, coincidentally, I love Jason there. As a matter of fact, the first documentary he did for ESPN was the Fab Five. As a matter of fact, he's a really good friend of mine, and the documentary did a really good job of depicting The Last Dance. Now, if you're Scottie Pippen, you could say, man, you ain't have to put the year in there that you ain't play for the team when I ain't going the game, because a lot of people didn't know about that. The reason why Scottie gets underappreciated, you guys, is because he was literally in the shadow of MJ so much that he didn't get to have great moments. Like
Jalen's hairline is incredible for a guy 50 years old. Great genetics or great surgeon, either one.
Go ahead, Tony Kukoc.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jordan retired after the 93 season, his third time. Last time I checked, Scottie Pippen had an opportunity. That Chicago Bulls team could have won the championship. He didn't report in the one game, which was game 3. That's game 5.
Game that killed the
top 5. Game 5.
I disagree. He didn't have enough firepower on that team to win a championship.
Okay, and that's it.
Why do you think the Knicks took them to 7 games?
The next year, the MVP All-Star game. The next year, he comes.
Scottie did not have another All-Star next to him.
But They were nosediving. The reality of the situation is that Scottie Pippen did have an opportunity to showcase himself without Michael Jordan, and he came up short. Is that not true?
So let me show you what Scottie means by like being disrespected. Okay. Take yourself back to circa mid-90s when you're one of the top 5 players in the league and MJ's making over $30 million and you only making $3 million.
That is not accurate.
That's when the disrespect started.
Yeah, but that's not. You want to target that Michael with that?
No.
We might need a little representative.
I don't blame MJ for that happening. I'm saying that's when the disrespect of his name.
I don't like to speak about money when I speak about Scottie Pippen or contract disputes. I just like to talk about his game, pure and simple.
Don't sign this contract. You'll be worth more in a year. And I will never renegotiate with you once you sign the contract. Don't sign it. And Michael Jordan.
Stephen A is always talking about somebody's money. I don't like that, Stephen A. Why are you always talking about somebody's contract? Why don't you put your contract up every time you get to open your big mouth? Put your contract up there, Stephen A.
35 years later, we're still talking about.
But George Jefferson wannabe, and George Jefferson was one of my childhood heroes. That's why Jalen Rose calls him Sherman Hemsley. All right. I told you it wasn't going to be a long video, right? But that's just to kick this discussion off. Feel free to chime in the comment section. Feel free to chime in after the live stream is over, whichever you prefer. But, okay, your stream has been temporarily blocked because we detected copyright audio and video. ESPN got me. So I might have to end this, come right back, not show that, and do this all over again. So, matter of fact, if you're in there right now, bear with me. I'm going to end this stream, come back with the same title, same everything. I won't show the ESPN footage. I mean, sometimes it's difficult to do YouTube and really be entertaining instead of just sitting here, you watching me talk because of this type of stuff. All right, but I'll be right back.